woman should look for a man that lives by a principle. That lives by principles. He's a principled man. You know what I'm saying? Like, he stands on principle. That's big, because you're gonna see that manifest itself in different areas of his life. He should be a man of integrity. He should be diligent. He should be a faithful man. So when I say that, I'm not just speaking in terms of his faithfulness to a woman. He should be a faithful man. Like, whatever he puts his hand to do, if he says he's going to do it, you should see the fruit of what he said he was going to do in his life. You know what I'm saying? A woman should look for a man that's driven by something that's greater than himself, right? A purpose that's greater than himself. Before God gave Adam anything, he gave him his purpose. Before God gave Adam a woman, he gave him his purpose. He gave him an assignment. This is what I want you to do. I want you to name the animals. I want you to keep the garden. I want you to oversee it. He gave him a purpose, you know what I'm saying, by which he was supposed to, you know what I'm saying, manifest things. And so when you see a man that's driven by purpose, and not just purpose, but a God-given purpose, because there is also a purpose that the enemy gives us. When you see a man that's driven by a purpose that God gives him, that purpose will keep him when he wants to, you know what I'm saying, go off track. So I think those things are important for sure.
Hey y'all, welcome back to Dear Tisia. First of all, first things first, okay? Get into the dress. This is a party dress because, you know, I'm really getting inspired for spring. Also, like, my nails are very springish. I'm also a spring baby, okay? April 20th is my birthday. Shout out to all the Taurus, even though I know we're on Capricorn season. Anyways, y'all, we're gonna hop right into our subscription reminders. We want you to follow Dear Tisia podcast on Apple and Spotify. Leave a 5-star review, not one, not two. 5-star review. Then we want you to subscribe to the Relationship Restored YouTube channel and my YouTube channel, which is under Tisia XVS. We also are trying to get to 10,000 subscribers. Y'all already know how I feel about this. Let's get it rolling, okay? 10,000 subscribers. We can do it. I mean, maybe we should make it a birthday gift at this point, okay? Between now and April, we need to be at 10,000 subscribers, and I'm hoping we'll get there far, far, far before that. Maybe our peanut gallery guests will boost our ratings. So getting into our peanut gallery guests, we have Ft.Nate with love. Y'all know I don't be letting many men up in here. So if the men come on Dear Tisia, that means they are vetted, tried, and true, okay? And y'all already know, like, Nate is a very, very, very good friend of mine. So I always tell them how I met the peanut gallery guest, okay? And, well, it's not really a peanut gallery guest. It's our real guest, right? So how I met Nate was we did tonight's conversation in studio. And Nate was the first person that I sat next to, and we were at like Buffalo Wild Wings or something like that. And it was when all the tonight's conversation crew was there, and Nate and I have been like locked in ever since. You know, sometimes you just know people's good energy, and when people are going to just, I don't know, like, you just had a way about you, like your first aura. Like, if you ever encounter Nate has the softest aura where it's just like, you just feel immediately safe and protected. Like, you have just like a soft, safe energy. So anyways, now we're besties, locked in for life.
Forever.
Anyways, so this is going to be more in depth because, again, this is our real true life guests for Dear Tisia, no peanut gallery here, okay? And so we just want to know a lot more about Nate and just who is Nate in this world. So what is something that you want people to know about you? Like, who is Ft.Nate with love, aka Nathaniel?
Yeah, for sure. So I would say the biggest thing for me, I want to be known for my heart, right? Like, I think that there are a lot of superficial things that people can be known for. You know, things that they take pride in, you know, financial achievements, you know, career goals, right? I want to be known for my heart. When it's all said and done, I want people to say, like, Nate had a beautiful heart, a beautiful soul. I love the fact that you described me as safe because I think that it's important for men to be safe. And so Yeah, those are some of the things that I want to be known for. Thank you for having me, by the way. I love
Yes.
what you're doing. I'm so proud of what you're building. It's dope.
Nate and I talk about podcasting, life, building,
Yes.
hell, Facebook ads,
Yes.
streaming. We talk about monetization,
All the
digital
time.
products, like
All the time.
literally it's like
Like
a
we'll
break.
call each other out the blue, like, yo, what you think about this? And we'll just sit there and we'll kind of build certain things
Yes,
out.
yes, yes. But you talked about you want to be known for your heart.
Yeah.
How do you feel like your heart leads you in life? Like what are ways that somebody that has encountered you would be able to feel that you've led with your heart?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a phenomenal question. Um, I think it has a lot to do with the way I move,
Mm,
the environments that I create for people to be able to be vulnerable, open up, you know what I'm saying? I think that it comes across in the way that I don't judge. I think that's a big one, right? Because
mhm,
when people are battling things in their life, it's easy to shut down because you feel like people are going to judge you or they're going to, or they're going to ostracize you or whatever the case may be. I
mhm.
think for me, it's just, creating a space for people where they feel safe. They know that there's no judgment, there's no fear, there's no shame. You know what I'm saying? You can be 100% yourself without having to worry about, like, you know what I'm saying, how I'm going to view you. You know what I'm
I
saying? I'm,
think
I'm
too.
always going to view people through that lens of love.
Mhm.
And I feel like when we do that, we create safety for people.
I think too, though, like when you really care about people, I think that when our friendship first started, I think I felt like that safety. But I think like when you grow a relationship with somebody and like knowing that we care for each other more, I feel like you are a little more firm.
Mm. Okay,
Because
so
like I have told you about guys, you like, yo, you gotta come off that nigga. Like literally like, you gotta stop and it's like,
nah.
whoa, oh, okay. You know those rules would be like, well, you call your friend or you call like your guy friend, and it's like you tell them about some guy, and it's like that nigga don't like you. He
Yeah,
never liked you. He's never gonna marry you. And it's just like, and you don't come off strong like that. But I
yeah,
think that the more safe you feel with the other person, you are like more of a straight shooter. I think like I've had more of like patting with you before in our initial friendship, but now you like, yo, nah, that's not something that you want to be
yeah,
involved in. I think you could
yeah,
be more straight too.
yeah. I'll say that a part of being safe too is being honest,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, um, when you can share with people from an honest place and they know that you have their best interests at heart, like, listen, I love you down, you know this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you come to me about a guy or a situation, I'm always going to keep it real with you because I love you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so, a part of love is honesty. Like, I'm gonna keep it real. And it's all about how it's presented as well. You know what I'm saying? Because some people present truth or honesty in a very harsh way, and then some people present truth and honesty in a way that's palatable for the person that's listening. And so I always try to present truth, but I always try to present it in a way where the person can take it. You know what I'm saying? Because it is possible to share truth too in a way that you shared it. It's like I'm not taking it for them because I don't like the way it came across. So yeah, I try to manage how I communicate it for
Yeah.
sure.
He does a great job at it as well.
I appreciate it.
If you could turn back the hands of time, who would you repair a relationship with and why?
Mm.
Like one relationship that you would go back in time and salvage and why?
Does it have to be romantic?
No, we're
Okay.
talking about people, life.
Okay. So I have two. Can I give you two? Or you want me to just stick to one?
One,
Okay.
look, the pearly gates of heaven are open and you got one.
Okay. Uh, it'll be my father.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? Um, you know, my relationship with my dad uh became strained as an adult, right? And it had a lot to do with his relationship with my mom and how things transpired there. And then also, how things transpired between my dad, my sister, and I. And some of the things that I didn't feel were fair. I think the older that you get, and me and my dad, we repaired our relationship maybe 3 years prior to him dying. And I was with my dad the day he died. But my relationship with my dad was never the same as it was when I was younger, if that makes sense, right? So we were on good terms, but we weren't close. And the more I've evolved as a man, the more I begin to understand his journey, his plight. You know what I'm saying? What he was dealing with as a man, his struggles, his fears. And in some ways, I've seen some of my dad in me, right? You know, I'm a man of faith, so I live by a biblical principle. And there's a verse that says, the father bites the sour fruit and the children's teeth are set on edge. You know what I'm saying? And so it's this idea that the things that the parents deal with, a lot of times the children are affected or have to deal with the same thing. They bear the consequences of the things that the parent experienced. And so in some ways I see a lot of my dad in me. And I think it causes me to understand more of his journey. And I'm like, man, I wish I could just have a few more conversations with him.
You know, that was so powerful. I was having a conversation with a friend who his friend's mother passed away. And he was sharing with me that his friend told him that he almost like felt relief that his mother had passed away. And a lot of it was just, of course, like, you know, she was suffering. And for somebody that has experienced a lot of grief and experienced people taking their last breath, I don't think we talk enough about almost like the relief of people dying in a like non-guilty kind of way. And I bring that up because, you know, you talk about like even like having parents, like you said, where you bear their fruit. So like now I have to deal with the chaos that you created in your fucking life and I didn't even ask to be here, right? And so a lot of times our parents, like we can inherit their chaos. Like everybody has the same 24 hours. And I remember sharing this with my friend, Angie. Hey, Angie, that lives in London. And I was telling her, I was like, I feel so much at peace for so many reasons that my parents have passed away. And it was almost like I was telling her a secret. And I'm like, why am I ashamed of that? Why does that make me feel guilty? It's like, well, yeah, it's death. Like death is sad. But it's also like, I think that I was, first of all, y'all, I'm hormonal and I'm ovulating. I think that like I was inheriting chaos from my parents, and it made me like honestly like relief. And it wasn't even like they were living a terrible life, but like somebody's illness. Like my mom was in and out of the hospital like all the time. Like my sister and I, we'll be like, even if a family member falls sick, we'll be like, did you call this person? Did you call them? Did you ask them to run this test? It's like, why do we know that much about the medical space? It's because my whole family then been sick. Half of them then passed away. And so I think that like the older that I got and the further removed I got from family that was bringing chaos into my life, and just literally like their life became my life's chaos, I got like, I felt better. And it was like a guilt that I had before, because I'm like, well, somebody, you shouldn't be happy about somebody dying. And it's not that I'm happy about it, but it's like I did live and inherit a lot of bitter fruit, baby. A lot of bitter fruit from the way that my parents, elders in my family, uncles, and everybody decide to live a lot of street life, a lot of death, a lot of drug abuse, a lot of illness, that I felt like I inherited a lot of bitter fruit. And so when those people transitioned, it really freed up my life. And we don't talk a lot about that because I think people feel guilty for saying it.
Yeah, no, that's real. And I can tell you that, you know,
Thank you.
being with my dad the day that he died, you know, I was able to tell him I forgave him for a lot of different things. You know, we were able to, you know, when the day that he died, he couldn't really talk, so he could just listen. But I remember just telling him that I forgave him for, you know, a lot of different things that that transpired. I think now I would want him to see his son walking in freedom. You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to say this without, you know what I'm saying, getting emotional. But
Nate and I cry a lot together also. I paid for this makeup today, y'all. I cannot play with y'all.
Yeah, but I would want him to see his son walking in freedom.
Mm-hmm. What was captive about, like, what felt like captivity with the relationship?
Yeah, it wasn't even my dad died with a lot of secrets. He
Mm,
died with a lot of pain,
yeah,
you know. Um you know me, I'm a deeply transparent guy. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So I live in my truth, good, bad, and ugly. You know what I'm saying? I'm the first to tell people where I've messed up and the lesson that I've learned. I think that with my dad, um, there was so much male ego and pride.
yeah,
And not only that, but there was this image that he fought so, long to maintain. And so I think that, you know, seeing, I wish that he could see me walk in the freedom that I'm walking in now. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? But so
Man,
that would be the thing.
yeah. Your father was a pastor.
He was for 14
Yeah,
years. Yep.
yeah, yeah.
So anyway,
Right, right. Okay. You just knowing you've talked a lot about fasting, getting deep into prayer, abstaining, and really just curating a new kind of cultivating a new environment. Like, why is that so important to you, and what do you feel like, where do you feel like it's going to take you, and what's
yeah.
the importance of it?
Okay, so we get into spirituality.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, just
No, that's
your
good.
lifestyle. Like, you've really talked about how you're not really outside like that. You kind of been more secluded, just kind of really focusing. You've
Yeah.
been praying a lot, getting really deep into that. You've been, you know, abstaining. What does that mean to you?
Sometimes.
Oh,
On
okay.
occasion.
I guess I need an update. But
On occasion, you know what I'm saying? It's a process.
but like, what is bringing you into that, like, that little nook, and how do you feel like it's gonna benefit your life?
Yeah. So, I feel like our relationship with God is everything. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? We could try to do it outside of that, but He's really the source. At least for
mm,
me, I believe that. And so I find that the more connected I am to the source, the more fruitful I am.
mm,
Right?
mm-hmm.
Because, um, you know, there's a verse that talks about being connected to the vine, the true vine. You know what I'm saying? Any
Yeah.
any branch that's connected to me will bear fruit. It will be fruitful. Um, will be like a tree planted by the rivers of living water. Like, I really do believe that the more connected we are to God, you know, the more direction we'll have, the more fruit we'll bear, the more of our purpose we can walk in. And so for me, this journey has been about alignment. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could try to do it without him. Um, but doing it without him is doing it without direction. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
doing it without guidance. So for me, it's about having that direction. But I believe that a man becomes the best version of himself
Absolutely.
when he submits to a higher power.
Absolutely.
And so for me, this journey is about submission, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
about submitting to a higher power, um, so that I can be the best man that God has called me to be. Like, it's that simple. So that looks like praying, that looks like fasting, that looks like being in divine order. You know what I'm saying? And I think that it's not something that we talk about enough, right? But being in divine order is so important. And then I've talked a little bit about, like, not necessarily having a desire to join my spirit and my soul to people who are not in alignment with,
Mm.
what I'm saying, God's plan and purpose for my life. And so that is the motivation behind at least doing my very best
Yeah.
to stay out of somebody's daughter. You feel what I'm saying? Um, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not perfect on that journey, but I'm growing and I'm evolving for sure.
I think too that when you talked about not attaching yourself to people that are also kind of not walking that path, and I don't think you're judgy or like a Bible thumper,
Right.
or somebody that really hits people over the head with that. But I think that, like, when you really find yourself on that journey, you will innately see people separating from you.
Mhm.
It's not even intentional, but the closer that I get to the cross and prayer, fasting, really understanding where I want to be,
Yeah.
the less interested you become in like a lot of worldly things, right? And
100%.
I think that I've seen that in my own life. Like even on, like, it's a new year and now everybody's like, okay, you got Super Bowl, you got All-Star Weekend, you got Afrotech, you got Essence Festival, and I'm like, dog, like I can't do the same kind of year that I
Yeah.
did last year.
Yeah.
And it's not like, oh, I'm so churchy and godly. First of all, anybody that knows me knows like I'm literally a church girl, right? But I don't. It's not
Surprise, right?
right.
Like
Surprise,
newsflash.
like surprise.
Right.
That's another. We have to do an episode about that, like of like who people think I am, and who I really am. Like, y'all, my Bible, I carry it everywhere. But I said all that to say is that I'm not interested in all of the other things because I feel like you have to have anchors and roots in something. And the more that I anchor myself and just even just my business, like the life that I'm trying to live, the more almost like in a tornado I feel with everything going around. I'm like, if I'm not having a convention, a meet and greet, or something, like I cannot run the city down this year.
Yeah, no,
I
for
just
sure.
can't. Like, I don't want to be in Houston with y'all popping bottles. I don't like. I'm trying. Like, I'm rooting myself. Like, I'm not perfect, and there are some things that I'm just like, yeah, like, girl, let's have a good time. But man, you feel almost pressure as a millennial to be like, okay, girl, you doing this, you doing that, and getting your calendar down for the year. I looked at that calendar and I said, baby, if you think I'm about to be at Super Bowl, then All-Star Weekend, then March, I forgot what it was. And I was like, yo,
You're like, it's not gonna happen.
it's just not gonna happen.
You know what it is though? I think the closer we get to God, I think our appetite for a lot of things changes.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's just that simple. It's just like, yo, the stuff I used to eat, I don't want that. No, it's not good for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's like when you start eating healthy, and then you eat something that's unhealthy, and it's just like, I actually want some fruit and veggies. You know what I'm saying? Like I actually don't want junk food. I actually have an appetite for something that's good for me. But no, I can definitely attest to the fact that, I remember one time I was getting ready to do a show. It was a show that I was on. I think you were on some other show, but you weren't on the show that I was on.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one day you sent me a prayer. You know what I'm saying? You was just like, I'm not going to repeat what the prayer said, but you sent me a beautiful prayer saying, God be with Nate as he's on stage, speak through him, da 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 da. And that was so special to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this girl she really rocks with me. And there's a side of you, and we've talked about this before. There's a side of you that even the people that follow you on social media and the people that are familiar with your brand, there's a side of you that you don't know, a side that's very caring, nurturing, concerned about your friends, you know what I'm saying? Concerned about their well-being, you know what I'm saying? Always doing things to make people understand that they are seen. Like, that is so beautiful, you know what I'm saying? And I really believe that is the most that is the most deeply beautiful part of who you are.
You know why I sent you that prayer? Because we talked about just the day, and you were nervous. And sometimes in life, like, we forget who we are. And I think even recently we've had moments where it's just like this, like, affirming of each other. And I remember just recently you calling me very excited about something and just like, man, you ain't gonna believe what happened. I said, I told you you were that person a month ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's one thing about me. If you could plant a mustard seed of a dream in me, and I'm gonna be like, yo, we gotta grow this thing out. Don't tell me your hopes and dreams. Like, I'm the last person. Like, I want to put a machine behind it. Like, I really feel like that so many dreams fall on people. And I think that you were like nervous, and I'm like, not my friend. Like, I'm like, I'm the little sister, but I feel like I'm the youngest of my sister and I, but I feel like I love to like just amp people up. Like I'm people's biggest cheerleader. And I had to remind you of who you were because as friends, sometimes I mean I just had this conversation with you where I was like, I don't think I did that well. I had a show and I was like, I don't think I did that well. I feel like I could have done better. I need to work on my delivery. My ADHD is fucking with me. I have to get this together. And you were like, friend, I saw a clip of you. Like I saw a clip. I thought it was fine. You know, like I thought it was a good clip. And I think that like that was just like my moment to also like bring people back to their safe space, right? And sometimes for my friends, it's just like I just send them money like she's like, girl, I'm like, how you doing, friend? She's like, girl, seasonal depression. I'm like, go get your hair done. You know, go get your because I know that's gonna help you. And I knew that just one, the prayer was my source, but also like you have to bring your friends back to where they roots are, you know. And so I had to remind you that you like you've been that person, especially when you seeing, you know, like your friends kind of like nervous a little bit. And I was like, nah, I
Yeah.
couldn't let you go
Yeah,
out
yeah, yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Another beautiful moment. I know you got I know
No,
you
no,
have
no,
another
no. Go ahead,
question.
go ahead.
Another beautiful moment was when you flew into Dallas to surprise me at the first Heart Room,
Mm,
and some of the things that you said that caused me to cry on stage. I'm like, I just be crying, I guess, or whatever the case may
mm-hmm,
be. But you really love your people. You know
I
what I'm
do.
saying? Like you really love your friends. You know what I'm saying? You recently did something for the tour that
Mm,
we all were on that was just a beautiful gesture. And it's just the way you show up for people
mm-hmm.
is beautiful. It's admirable.
I'm the first person that's going to remind you of who you are, you know, and like number one, I think that one of my biggest gifts is just seeing people. And sometimes it's not just like seeing how powerful and great people are. It's like a lot of times when people show up in a chaotic space, I'm just like, it's like I see that this is not something that you have against me, that you're just surrounded by pain, trauma, wounds, and things like that. And I think I just have a true gift for like deep empathy. And I love to reward and champion people. Like that's just one thing. And I think one of the recent thing was, you know, me gifting a friend of mine just like basically a cake to reward him for like just a long tour that he had, but it's like we both know like what he came out of. And I'm just like, man, if I didn't see anything from you, I saw you get it out the mud and
The
revamp,
mud.
get it out the mud and revamp. And the craziest thing is that like because I'm on tour, I'm adjacent to this person. Like these aren't any deep friendships or things like that, right? But it's like I see people and I'm like, man, I always want to remind people that like, man, life is worth living. Anything you survived all your bad days, right? And
Okay.
that's just something about me. And I like for people to live in the present and really soak in like you made it. Like you got through this. And so that there's that I do see people and I like for people to know that you are exactly who you said that you are. Okay, let's okay, well this is a good one. Finish the sentence.
Okay.
If I've gotten everything in life wrong, one thing I got right is
If I got everything in right, if I got everything in life wrong,
one thing I did get right is
my ability to bounce back. Well, I tell you that resilience is on 1,000.
hmm,
You know what I'm saying? Like I've gone through several seasons of my life that should have destroyed me.
mm-hmm,
You know what I'm saying? Um, divorce, you know what I'm saying? Reputation, shattered, you know what I'm saying? People lost faith in me. I mean, times where I've been down, broke down, you know what I'm
mm-hmm,
saying? Like, my ability to bounce back. And I can't take full credit for that, obviously. Um,
mm-hmm.
because many are the plans of a man's heart, but you know what I'm saying, God's purpose will prevail. So a lot of it was in his purpose, you know what I'm saying, regardless of the setbacks or whatever the case may be. But you know what I'm saying, like just that ability to recover, You know what I'm saying? And recover everything. I'm not just like recover all. Yeah.
How did you feel like you disappointed people? Because that's something that stood out about what you said, that you it was your reputation overcoming that, and like you said, divorce, but also like you disappointed people. And I know that that's something that's near and dear to you.
Yeah.
How did you repair those relationships or move forward knowing that whatever those people thought or how you let them down may have been your lasting impression?
Yeah. First and foremost, let me say that lack of integrity is disappointing. So the people that were disappointed were they were vindicated in their disappointment. So I think that's the first thing, just making peace with the fact that they have the right to feel the way that they feel. I believe that it is possible to be disappointed and still love people through the disappointment. I've been disappointed by many of my friends. And I'm saying all of this for a reason. I've been disappointed by a lot of my friends, but because they were my friends, I loved them through the disappointment. I let them know that I was disappointed. I let them know where they messed up. You know what I'm saying? With love. But I continued to fight for them because they were my friend. I think that the toughest part for me was disappointing people who I had been there for in some of their lowest seasons and them walking away. I don't think that it was as much of the disappointment, me disappointing them, that was painful. It was the fact that they walked away at a time where I was extremely vulnerable, at a time where I could have really used the friendships, the support, so forth and so on. I think that was the most painful part. Also, lack of integrity can cause people to view you differently, right? So because I lacked integrity at a certain stage in my life, particularly surrounding my marriage at the time, I think that it caused a lot of people to view me in a different light, right? And that's just a consequence of poor character, right? We've heard before that it takes years to build a reputation and a moment to destroy it.
Tear it down.
And so I experienced that in my life. Now, with that being said, the fact that God literally, maybe not in the minds and the hearts of the people that knew me closely and were disappointed by some of those failures, but the fact that God has given me a voice to be able to speak into the lives of people, to give hope, even for people that have had crazy failures, crazy journeys, the fact that he's given me a platform and an opportunity to speak into people's lives shows that it has more to do with God's purpose than it does my failure. That God's purpose is stronger than anything that I could do to mess it up.
But I mean, I think we've talked about this too, man. There are so many, even for people that just don't believe in the Bible. Oh, it was written by man, but there's all these, just for people that may be skeptical about the Bible. I think that there are so many redemption stories, man.
100%.
Read the Bible like a book. If you don't attach it to Jesus, Christianity, religion, or nothing. If you just read the Bible like a book, there are so many there's so many redemption stories. Man, I'm talking about people that they thought God forgot about. I'm talking about the thieves, the murderers, the adulterers. Okay, I'm talking about so many redemption stories in the Bible. Like, man, God wants the ones that people counted out. Man, God wants the one that got dirt on their name, blood on their hands. Okay, and I think that when you talk about just relationships and friendships and holding people to the cross for their past and mistakes that they made, man, y'all just go on and take a walk through the Bible about how a lot of those people ended up being the last one standing and got all the glory,
Let me tell you one real quick.
Yes,
Please
do.
A real quick one.
I love niggas. He gonna bring the scripture out. 100%. Please tell me.
Real quick, King David, right?
Yes.
King David had Bathsheba's husband killed.
Yep.
Right? Basically took the girl, had her husband put on the front line, tried to conceal it, tried to cover it up, broke all 10 of the commandments in the process of him stealing a man's wife, murdering him. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, he was judged by God taking one of his sons. And then after that, you know what I'm saying? Like when David acknowledged his shortcoming, he said, God, against you and you alone have I sinned. Listen, I know it impacted everybody else, but against you and you alone have I sinned. I'm remorseful. I repent. I'm sorry. David, to this day, goes down as one of the greatest kings to ever live.
Absolutely.
And God literally told him that his kingdom would reign forever. I'm talking about when all of this is gone, it said that his kingdom would reign forever. All I'm saying is that if we were looking at David through the eyes of people, they would have said he's done.
Yep.
He lacks character. He lacks integrity. Yep. You know what I'm saying? He's no good. Throw him away. You know what I'm saying? But God redeems.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And so my biggest thing is like, I'm David. I'm not saying that I'm a king whose kingdom is going to reign forever. What I am saying is that I'm a man that has made terrible mistakes. I'm a man that has broken all the commandments. I'm a man that at a stage in his life lacked integrity. But when your heart is turned towards God, like he can change your story.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness.
You feel me? Like
absolutely.
I didn't even mean to come on here and like
man, God can change your story.
He can change your story.
He change your story.
And people don't have to like it. There are a lot of people that don't like that I'm in the relationship space after I had a failed marriage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But the heart of the king is in the hands of the Lord. He turns it whatever way he wants to. You know what I'm saying? Like it is what it is.
So you talked about your divorce, right? And I think we've already discussed like you would love to get married again.
Absolutely.
What are the qualities that you think are just baseline what a woman should be looking for in a husband, particularly a man of God as their person? What are the qualities that you feel like a woman should be? I mean, like it got to go in the kit. Like if you don't get nothing else, you may not get 6 feet, 6 figures, 6-pack, right? Okay, but you need these qualities in a husband.
Yeah. So God fearing, and this is one that we don't talk about a lot, but I think it's important. A woman should look for a man that lives by a principle. That lives by principles. He's a principled man. You know what I'm saying? Like he stands on principle. That's big because you're going to see that manifest itself in different areas of his life. He should be a man of integrity. He should be diligent. He should be a faithful man. So when I say that, I'm not just speaking in terms of his faithfulness to a woman. He should be a faithful man. Like whatever he puts his hand to do, if he says he's going to do it, you should see the fruit of what he said he was going to do in his life. You know what I'm saying? How many times have I told you I was going to do stuff and you like,
yeah,
friend, you actually did exactly what you said you was going to do.
Absolutely.
Right? So he should be a principled man, integrity, you know what I'm saying? Very deep character.
Can I say something right there when you talked about how many things have I told you that I was going to do and I did? And that was Nate saying that to me. I think what was so admirable, and this is why we got to the tears at the heart room, because I said, man, like you are exactly who you said you are, but you also want a man who believes in it. When Nate, you did it when we didn't even know people was going to come.
Right.
You did it when we didn't know people was going to buy them tickets. Also, let me put this in there. It was a sold out show. That room was packed. It wasn't an empty seat in that room. People were standing up on the side and the back. Okay. But Nate put that thing together when you knew. And I think that when you say faithful, like you do the things that you said you were going to do and until they come to fruition. But I mean, I feel like the real nugget in that is that you was going to do it whether people came or not. You did it off a whim, off the humble, off of just like that seed and that passion. And I think that is so important. And I'm telling y'all, when we talk about like our bucket list of men, my bucket list, I'm going to talk about it one day. It's stuff that people don't even talk about. And this is one of them. I like a renegade kind of man where he like, look, I know this sound crazy to y'all, but shit, let me see if it work or not. That's my type of man. Like, that's my type of husband. It's like you believe in it so much that you don't need no other fish to swim with you. You was gonna do it, Nate, and I watched you do it, and I feel like, man, that type of faith. Oh, I'm getting emotional. Like, that type of faith turns things, man. And I don't think people realize it. Like, the whole theory of like the faith of a mustard seed. If anybody ever seen a mustard seed, I have a necklace that has a mustard seed. Literally, a mustard seed is like a spectacle. It's so small, but like that's all you need to turn things. And people don't realize that faith will turn a tide. Okay, like you have to truly believe in it. And I saw you do it with my own two eyes. I saw Nate do it with my own two eyes, and you did it, and you didn't even know. And people say faith is taking a step you can't even see the rest of the stairs, but you just keep stepping down. And like I saw you do it when you didn't know you didn't know if it was other steps, you didn't know if it was 2 steps or 10 steps.
I said, listen, I was gonna do it if it was 5 people in that room, but and this leads me to the next part. And this is for me the last piece of it. But probably one of the most important pieces. A woman should look for a man that's driven by something that's greater than himself, right? A purpose that's greater than himself. Before God gave Adam anything, he gave him his purpose. Before God gave Adam a woman, he gave him his purpose. He gave him an assignment. This is what I want you to do. I want you to name the animals. I want you to keep the garden. I want you to oversee it. He gave him a purpose, you know what I'm saying, by which he was supposed to, you know what I'm saying, manifest things. And so when you see a man that's driven by purpose, and not just purpose, but a God-given purpose, because there is also a purpose that the enemy gives us. Ooh. When you see a man that's driven by a purpose that God gives him, that purpose to keep him when he wants to, you know what I'm saying, go off track. So I think those things are important for sure.
Well, I'm a tag team that just as we come out of this segment is that for the women, the way that you're going to recognize men that are not purpose driven or not purpose led, they're going to have very low impact in your life. You ever seen a man that you met, you didn't know this man 6, 8, 12 months, nothing has changed. And I want y'all to know this is not just about finance. This is not just somebody upgrading your lifestyle. This is about a man that has come in and he's made you more patient. He's made you more empathetic. This person has like planted seeds and he wants to invest in you. Not talking about finance, because anytime you talk about finance is a big thing, but I'm telling y'all, it's so many things that are bigger than this. It's not just finance. Like this person is investing resources into you, right? And I think that men that are not faith-led and that don't have any purpose, you will spend time around them, so much time around them, and nothing has increased in your life. Nothing has increased in your life. And you want to know why? Because they don't have any purpose. Men that have purpose, it's what touching the hem of a garment. That's what it's going to feel like. Knowing them is going to increase everything about you, right? And men that don't have purpose they're going to feel like low impact men. It's going to feel like, I could do this without you. Like I didn't met you and nothing in my life has changed. But when you find men that are purpose, it's innate to them to amplify, to multiply, to invest, to incubate, Listen, that's a list. That's on my husband's list. I'm telling you.
We talk about the virtuous woman from a perspective that's almost gender specific. You know what I'm saying? We talk about the Proverbs 31 woman, but let me talk about the virtuous man.
Come on now.
Let me talk about the virtuous man.
Please tell the people.
When she touched the hem of his garment, what did Jesus say? He said, I felt goodness and virtue leave my body. Listen, as much as we talk about the virtuous woman and it's important, I pray to God that a woman meet a virtuous man. I pray she meets a generous man. I pray that she meets a man that can speak into her life. You know what I'm saying? That can literally sow seeds into her life that spring up into gardens. Like I pray that a woman meets that type of man. I ain't gonna get too much into it.
To our next episode, we're gonna be talking about this as well. But man, you're right. We don't talk a lot about that. It's like, oh, when you meet a good woman, when you happy wife, happy life, like he who finds a good wife. But man, I'm telling you, and I've experienced it. And I'm gonna tell you this, and I tell him this to this day, like, you done made it hard for anybody that come after you. Because once you experience that type of man where they are so purpose-led and they're driven and they're a man of faith, it is so hard to go back to regular degular. It is so, it's painful. It's painful because it's almost like everything with them is like a spark, right? And it's not like chemistry and love is not what I'm talking about. It's just like you feel, I once told this man, I said, ever since I've met you.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes. When I walked out the house, I walked differently. I felt that I had so much more protection just by encounter. I think it was only maybe a month or two. And I felt somebody that don't even live in my same city. I felt more protected than I felt with a man that I've spent 2-3 years of my life with. And I'm telling you, when you meet them type of men, baby, God bless them. You know, they say these men is like, let me take my daughter to on vacation so she not impressed by this going to Miami with somebody's son. That's how I felt. Like that's how I felt about this. Like, it's gonna be hard to impress me after this point. And again, it wasn't like showering of money and gifts and trips, even though that was a part of it. It was like he increased everything about me. And he believed more in me than I did with once you find that virtue, listen, a virtuous man. Anyways, y'all, let's go on to one of my favorite segments. I feel like all my segments are my favorite, but our Dear Tisia voicemail. And it's entitled, I'm losing myself trying to stay chosen.
Dear Tisia, I'm writing because I'm struggling to understand how to stay emotionally regulated in a relationship that feels like it's shifting, and I don't want my emotions to keep running the show. When my relationship started, everything felt solid. We were very public. He was very public about us, openly affectionate, consistent with his intimacy, holding hands, kissing, doing all of that. And I always felt chosen. There was a lot of passion, reassurance, closeness, and over time, though, things changed. And I'm trying to understand how much of that shift is about me versus the dynamic itself. And as I become more emotionally invested, I notice that when I express my needs, frustration, hurt, or hold him accountable, his demeanor shifts. The affection became inconsistent. Although our sex life has always been there, the outside intimacy also feels conditional, more present when sex is involved, but when he perceives a threat, such as another man, less present in day-to-day connections. And if I don't initiate affection, especially after a big fight, like say I love you or I'm sorry, it just seems like the affection will not happen. I've also noticed that sometimes important things come up to me, like family matters or moments that require emotional accountability, and he tends to shut down, deflect, or say he forgot rather than address the impact. That leaves me feeling unprioritized and unsure where I stand. What's hard is I know that my emotions can sometimes escalate. I'm not perfect. I can be very mean and say some really cruel things, especially when I'm mad, but I hate feeling like I'm being unheard or that he doesn't take me serious. I sometimes catch myself wanting to fix the energy, say the right things, text the right way, mentally stimulate him. If I don't, I feel like we'll drift further apart. But I don't like the woman I'm becoming. I don't want to manipulate or play games. I want to be emotionally disciplined, and I want my standards to be clear, and I want the relationship where access to me reflects effort, not one where I'm consistently over functioning to keep us close. So my question, how do I get strict with myself, my standards, without becoming cold, reactive, or fearful? And how do I regulate my emotions so that I'm not chasing reassurance, but also not ignoring my needs? And how do I tell whether this relationship can be corrected with boundaries and emotional control, or whether it's showing me a deeper mismatch? I want to grow, not spiral. I want clarity, not control. And I want to know where I stand firmly in what I want without losing myself in the process. Thanks for creating a space where we can have these conversations, and these conversations can be real and honest. A woman learning to choose herself without shutting down her heart.
First of all, she wrote us a strawberry letter. Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Look, she said, and had it scripted out. Okay, I ain't mad at it. So before I get to the questions, and I'll actually read over what the actual question is in case we lost track because that was very long. What I found that was so important out of this, she said that the sex was consistent, but everything else started to lack. And the reason for that is because sex is the cheapest thing that you could do. And we do not understand that the emotional bandwidth of the man, that takes work and time. And being present, being patient, being kind, compromising, conflict resolution, showing people grace, like truly investing in somebody. And out of all the things that she named, she said when important things happen in her life, when she's trying to initiate affection, she said all of those things became inconsistent, but the sex was the one thing. Sex is the cheapest thing a man can do with you, okay? And y'all call me crazy, but if you want to see how important a man truly is, I'm going to tell you, lock it down, close the doors, all right? And you truly are going to find out, right? And it doesn't mean that if you are having sex with him, he's not going to be invested, right? But you want to see whether you're going to get those things and that deep commitment beforehand, because he's telling you that he don't have the bandwidth for all the other stuff, but he got the bandwidth to lay down with you. And I think that is something that you yourself should pull out from this, that the one thing that was consistent was the physical intimacy, the actual act of having sex, and that is one of the cheapest things that a man can do with you. And on the other hand, that can be something that truly amplifies a relationship. She's trying to regulate her own emotional intensity and establish healthy standards. And basically she's asking, does she feel like this relationship can kind of be repaired? I think a man tapped out.
So let me tell you, the most concerning part about everything that she said was not the nuances of what they're going through in their relationship. It's the fact that when she tries to hold him accountable, he shuts down. Mm-hmm. Right? My whole thing is you can fix anything if there's accountability, if there is an acknowledgement of the fact that, you know, I understand where you're coming from. I see your perspective, so forth and so on. Then all the other things can begin to be worked out. Okay, how can we tackle this part of it? How can we tackle that part of it? I think that if you have all those things going on, and when you try to address it or you try to talk through it, the person on the other end shuts down, then it's hard to make emotional progress. Yes. It's hard to fix anything.
Yes.
So the thing that I would say, right, like we could break apart all the different pieces of the question, but the thing that I would say is they need to get in front of someone that can help to open him up emotionally, right? Whether that's a therapist, a counselor, a psychologist, where they can actually begin to work on the different nuances of the relationship that are going south. But if he's not willing to take accountability, then you can't fix it. Mm-hmm. That's where it starts.
Well, Nate and I argue on stage about stuff like this all the time. First of all, y'all always know, why you in therapy with that man? This man is a boyfriend. So that's just number one. Number two, Nate, he started off with this kind of investment. Right. She didn't have these problems before. I think that women, we will hold on like that ponytail. We will hold on for dear life. I think that the relationship is expiring and she doesn't want to let it go because there is an attachment issue here. The title of it is, I'm losing myself trying to stay chosen. Mm-hmm. How can I say this diplomatically? A lot of women will get into a relationship and that relationship defines everything that they are. And losing it becomes a internal failure. And we had a caller call in where she was scared to go back to her family to even tell them that she wasn't happy in a relationship because she grew up in a family where all of her aunts and mamas and grandmothers was like, you better be with that man. You better be with that man. A lot of us women, the relationship becomes their identity. And I think it's something so problematic about even wanting to be chosen that deeply to the point that you're losing yourself, as well as you are internalizing all of his shortcomings. So now that she's even trying to repair it, it becomes, I don't know if it's something that I'm doing or if it's something that he innately just has to fix within himself. And I think that women, we've kind of really lost our way, that the relationship it becomes bigger than ourselves. It becomes our title and our identity. This is expiring. I think that the relationship is expiring and she doesn't want to let it go. She acknowledges her own emotional reactions can be big, sometimes mean or reactive, and she wants to grow. The conflict resolution is one-sided. She holds space, he deflects or forgets. He doesn't want to be there, Nate.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be there, darling. He doesn't want to be there. And also, they say that finances is the biggest reason for divorce, and it's actually not. It is growing in parallel, and this is a big thing that most people, when you're hitting your stage of evolution and you're trying to grow and you're in a point where you're trying to regulate your emotions, we think we can do it with the other person, and you can't, especially if this is a relationship and not a marriage. That's why marriage counseling is such a huge thing, because it's going to teach you strategies for when you hit those very hard times where y'all feel like y'all going like this and you married that man under God at the altar, right? Just the relationship in itself is not something that's going to hold up if you have not done the work separately. And I think that that's one of the biggest things of relationships. You want to be with somebody that when you hit your internal milestone. I just had a conversation with my little friends, and I was telling him, like, man, I feel like I don't have the habits of a millionaire. Like, I'm saying I want to do this. I'm saying I want to monetize. I'm saying I want my podcast to take off. But there are things that I have in my life that are limiting me, and I don't feel like I have the habits of a millionaire. Imagine trying to do that with somebody else. It's either a nigga that's gonna hang with you or he gonna hang. A lot of us, we are hitting our pivotal moments of growth, and you cannot do it with somebody else. Like, I would only imagine if I was married. That's why I'm so glad. I'm gonna say this. I feel like I got like a 98.99% chance of my marriage working out, because I am doing so much of the work, and I have so much wisdom and wherewithal that when I do get there. And so currently I feel like I don't have those habits, but I always imagine, like, what if I had a partner right now? That would either be a catapult for us to grow stronger, or the straw that broke the camel's back.
So you're going to crucify me when I say this. You're going to crucify me when I say this, and that's okay. When people are dating, they do everything else.
What you mean?
When people are dating, they have sex. They take trips together. They around each other's family. I think it's okay for them to go to counseling. My whole thing is that doesn't mean that the relationship has to work out. But I think that sometimes dating relationships are good practice for what we're experiencing when we're in marriage, right? And so two people sitting in front of someone that can help them sort out some of the issues that they're having in their marriage. I don't think that them not being married is a reason for them to have unresolved issues in the marriage. I think that it's an opportunity for them to even discover further that they're not for each other, right? Sometimes therapy and counseling can help you have that aha moment, like, he don't really want to do the work. You know what I'm saying? And you may say to yourself, well, he's showing her that right now that he doesn't want to do the work. That is possible. Or it could also be a scenario where he's not utilizing the right tools. And so I just want to give space because there's some people that are in beautiful dating relationships that if they sat down in front of a counselor, it would actually help to enhance and grow their relationship on the way to engagement and marriage. Now, I completely understand where you're coming from in terms of marriage being a larger relational investment or emotional investment. For a lot of people, right? Now, y'all got the same last name. You know what I'm saying? Y'all have assets together. Y'all have, houses and all of that stuff. Like, it's a more secure relational, or seemingly secure, because I know a lot of these marriage people still operating like they dating. It's a more seemingly secure environment. But I don't really see an issue with people doing some counseling. It doesn't have to be intensive counseling, but.
So Nate and I,
I've actually heard your perspective before on this. You know what I'm saying?
And Nate, that's a viral video. Listen, Nate and I about the same age. At this big age, I'm not going to therapy.
No,
with like you, and it's not that I'm not willing to go to therapy with a man that's not my boyfriend, but I would have had really did an audit of that relationship to see if this person has a potential to be my long-term partner.
Man, let me tell you something. I actually prefer to do therapy with someone that I'm dating almost early on.
Right. But you have already done, like, you're not just going to do it with a girl that you think you're going to date. You're probably like, man,
But sometimes that's the precursor. That's what I'm saying. Like sometimes
right. No,
that's a part
that,
of the process. And let me tell you why I have that perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing about therapy, right? People always talk about like, oh, I'm in therapy. Let's not even talk about it from the perspective of a relationship for a second. Let's talk about it from the perspective of someone just saying, I want to better myself and I go to therapy. Therapy is not the real work. The real work is, are you going to do what the therapist said that you should be doing?
Yeah. And the crazy thing is that the therapists don't really be saying a lot.
They don't be saying a lot. A lot of times you come to your own conclusions or you come to your own aha moments of things that you need to do. But my whole thing is the realization is just the first step.
Right.
Are you going to actually follow through? This is what I want to know when I'm dating someone. I want to know that if the therapist gives directives or we come to an aha moment that you're actually willing to do the work. I want to see what the follow through is like. I want to know that prior to actually getting engaged. Absolutely. And I want to know that prior to getting married, because imagine if we never walk through any of that while we're dating. And then I discover that when we're married, you actually don't have follow through in these areas. Now I'm in a cyclical relationship with someone that's not willing to do the work on a consistent basis, especially when things get hard. I want to know that up front.
I get that. And I think that being you're a man, but I think that on the opposite side for me, I feel like a man, I'm always curious about what a man would think that I would even want to take him into a place like therapy. And I think that sometimes, I think you are a lot more evolved, you have a lot more range, but I think that some men only think this far, right? And I think that if I was to be like, hey, do you want to go to therapy? I think that men don't like to feel kind of backed into a corner. And I think that it's so weird. I think that men don't want to know that I feel like they're my husband first, if that makes any sense. And so when you say come to therapy, to him, it's like, oh, she's trying to.
Go ahead.
She's trying to lock me down. And I'm telling you that you're probably like, okay, well, what's the purpose of that? The purpose of that is that it to me, it offsets the overall aura of the relationship on who has the most emotional investment. And to your point, which is why I brought this up, is that I think you could find out what a nigga gonna do and if he gonna do the work before you sit down and take his ass to therapy. There's so many ways, because even what I was going to say with this point, I'm telling you, a man that lacks the ability to resolve conflict, to me, is a man that also lacks adoration for you. I'm telling you, it's hard to stay mad, Nate, at a woman you absolutely adore. And it's so funny because my producer here, Dre, his wife always tell me, girl, as soon as I start crying, Dre be like, all right.
Shout out to Dre.
Cool. Like, as soon as I start crying, Dre be like, all right, okay. We're going to call it true. He's going to try to fix it. And it's deep love and adoration of somebody that doesn't want to actually resolve the conflict. And I personally feel like, baby, you it don't take a rocket science. It's ways to tell that before you even take a man to therapy.
So can I speak for the men for a second?
Mm-hmm.
I think that sometimes it's less about willingness and more about understanding how.
Mm-hmm.
Right. To your point, right? There aren't a lot of men. There are more men that haven't done the work than there are men that have done the work. Right.
I agree with that.
And so I'm of the perspective, like, you want to know as much as you can early on. Yeah. Tell that nigga you want to go to therapy, right? And blow it all up and see how he responds. Mm-hmm. You feel what I'm saying? Now imagine you tell a man, yo, I want us to go to therapy. And he's like, you know what? I think that's a good idea, because I really want to get to know you better. And I don't really know how to navigate this. You know what I'm saying? I'm dealing with a woman that I've never dealt with before.
Okay, so let me tell you the danger in that. See, we didn't take this shit too far. Let me tell you the danger with that. The danger in that is that
I'm not saying that she's the best woman that he's ever had, or like he feels like she's out of his league. So let me first say that. I'm saying that everybody's different.
But when the danger in that is that when you start doing your life's work attached to people, you're more prone to stay even when the shit ain't for you. And see, women don't have the same emotional. If I start discovering myself, this is why the trauma bonding is usually a woman thing. Because if I start doing my life's work with you and I'm sitting in front of that therapist and I'm finding out shit about how my daddy was gone, how my mama treated me, how I have all these, and I start doing with you, now I'm going to be more, it's a dangerous game, Nate, to really start doing your life's work attached to other people. Because I'm telling you, women, we just feel differently and we invest differently. And now you're going to start thinking that that's your person because you start becoming a different form of yourself while you were with them. And that is why women trauma bond so much. And so I think it's even more dangerous to try to untraumatize yourself with somebody else, especially a man that you're dating. If I start doing my life's work, where do you think you're going? I'll tell you this. If I start doing my life's work with you, right, fucking nigga, we get married, period. I don't know where you thought you was going. Because you leave reminiscences with people, right? At this age, you don't want people to leave with those kind of big nuggets and pockets of you, right? And so when you're doing your life's work at this point, we getting married.
But my whole thing is like, when you're dating the right person, there's gonna be that evolution anyway.
Yeah,
there's gonna be
I
that.
agree.
There's gonna be that, right? And or dating the right type of person. Dating the right type of person doesn't mean that they're your person, but it means that I become a better version of myself as a result of the things that I learned in a relationship, as a result of being connected with you. You know what I'm saying? And so, I don't know. I think I know we got different perspectives on that. But
Nate said, go to therapy with the men. Test them. We'll see. You know, okay. Voicemail number 2. Okay, perfect. Okay. So this is funny because this is actually my Bitch You Smell Good segment where y'all know I love fragrances. However, Nate is allergic to a lot of fragrances. So instead of our fragrance today, I want Nate to open this bag that I have on the side of him because that's,
okay.
Nate has, it could go left, it could go right with fragrances for him. So instead of having him spray all of that,
let me bring it into the camera's view.
Him open this gift that I have for him here.
You out here buying folks gifts and stuff. Let's see. Oh, you got me some sneakers.
Nate loves sneakers.
I do love sneakers. She be looking really. She be looking at my feet like, nigga, you need to get your shoe game. Like I'm playing. Oh, I appreciate this so much. Look, let's go.
960s.
I love the colorway too, because it can go with so many different things. Thank you so much. That is so kind of you.
I know.
Listen, she out here buying.
I love giving gifts. So yes, that's our segment because Nate, we can't be spraying over here with Nate. We want him having no allergic reaction out here. Okay, so that's it, right? We're not doing our red flag. Okay, perfect. Anyways,
thank you so much.
Concludes our segment of Dear Tisia. Thanks, Nate, for coming on.
Man, it's been a pleasure. You had me over here crying again.
5 minutes in, we both crying, child.
Boy, out of there.
Anyways, y'all, see y'all next time. Bye.